Hey podcast, just before we get you to this episode, I wanted to invite you to join us at pageantlaunch.com. We are starting the world's first dedicated pageant review site, and we want you to join our launch team. All you need to do is put in your email address. It's completely free. We are looking to make the pageant industry safe, transparent, and fair, and we'd love your input on how to do that. So head over to pageantlaunch.com, whack in your email address, and let's get you to this episode.
Hi, my name is Hannah Golden. I'm your young Miss International Spokesmodel, and this is my interview with the Pageant Project.
Hey everyone, it's Adrian from the Pageant Project, and today I'm coming to you from the top of a car park because of my ongoing issues with internet and power. But I have with me young Miss International Spokesmodel 2019, Hannah Golding. Hannah, welcome to the show.
Hi, long time fan. So very excited.
I appreciate that. I'm doing much better in the UK in a few months than I ever did in Australia. Not in a few years, but let's say in a year. So it's been great getting into the UK market. I guess on that note, I mean, you do sparkles and rhinestones yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always unusual interviewing someone who's obviously done not only interviews themselves, but also created a lot of content, which I've seen you actually be brave enough to do Facebook Lives, which a lot of the girls, because anything, I'm sure, anything can happen on a Facebook Live, and often does. So before we get into your pageant history per se, what about sparkles and rhinestones? What made you decide to do that?
So, Sparkles and Rhinestones, when I first started pageantry back in a long time ago, 2010, I'm an old one now, there wasn't really anything for us pageant girls. You used to get your experience through just competing, and I finished my second time at Galaxy, so this is 2017, and I was feeling a bit lost. I was thinking, do I carry on, which I did, and then I felt pregnant, and we'll go into that later. But I trained people, I coached people, I gave them advice, and I was like, I want something that brings out like the positivity of UK pageantry and shares those tips that people, when they first start, can come on and go, oh, I didn't know this was a thing, I didn't know that was a thing. So it started with that, just doing tips, queens, like spotlight. I've always done a blog for a long time with my pageants,
Right.
and it's just usually talking about my appearances and things like that if people read them. But then I got to interview other queens and write for magazines, and then it just kind of snowballed after the first time at Texas. And I was like, right, I want to do confidence sessions, training sessions. I want to expand. And so I did my first session at the Miss Voluptuous pageant. It was a curves and confidence session. And then it's just gone from there. So really excited. It was very hard, first of all, to build up the likes and that. But when you hit 1,000 likes, you're like, yes.
Yeah.
So really good. But yeah, it's just grown, and I now have some presenters with me as well. Oh, someone's...
That's a train, if you're hearing that.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I do, especially with the lives as well. I have to make sure that my daughter's not here, because she would be coming in, taking the tripod. The dog will probably come in at some point, because she's like, where's my attention? But
well, that happened to Chloe yesterday, and I have a young nephew, and I can't record anything when he's near because he insists on getting on the camera and sitting in my lap. I'm sitting on my lap, so... Yeah,
definitely. Okay, yeah. So she's not here today, so Dad. She's sleeping now. She should be. I hope so. If you're watching her, then you go to sleep.
Okay, so that is why you started it. So give us an idea as to what how much you're putting into it, sort of on a weekly basis. I guess also because you're balancing your own pageantry. So has one or the other got more of your attention or the moment, or does it kind of ebb and flow depending on where pageant season is, or the people you're training, where their pageant season is?
Yeah, so I think it kind of goes hand in hand, because we've started presenting at pageants, as in interviewing queens at the break, which I love. And it's nice that, like, right now my voice is quite normal, but as soon as you get a microphone in my hand, it goes really squeaky. It's really strange.
Okay.
So it's like when I did live on my Facebook today from the event I was helping at, it just goes squeaky. I don't know why. It must be the live option. But it kind of all works into one, because when I do my appearances, I do it every weekend. There's never a break.
Right.
When my daughter's asleep, I will be like scheduling posts or like editing videos that I've recorded, and it just all merges, because not only do I do Sparkles and Rhinestones, I also do the social media for Yanni and for Yami as well. So I'm all over the place, but I do love it. It gives me something to do, since obviously having Penelope, I haven't returned to work yet because childcare is expensive.
Same in Australia.
Yeah, so once she gets funding, I can return. And I used to be a personal trainer, so it's kind of still on the same lines of empowering people and helping them out with their goals, but with pageants. So pageant season is all year round, I think, here in the UK as well. There's always something. I thought I was going to be quiet in this time, and I'm not. I'm still super busy.
No, I don't think there is any sort of off season. I think the off season, if there is an off season, is when everyone's training for their next one. I mean, I think it's spread throughout the year. Obviously, we've got World going on at the moment. Universe is happening soon, and then you've kind of got New Year, but then you've got Global at the beginning of New Year, and then you've got Galaxy itself in March. So it never, ever stops. Can you tell, and this is obviously one of the reasons I wanted to connect with you, tell me more about the Yami system, all these systems. I was going to do more research, but without the internet, it was kind of hard.
It's all right.
So can you tell us more about those systems and what makes them different to, let's say, a Galaxy or World, or those systems that I sort of interviewed past people from?
So Yemi was actually brought here in 2016 by Jeanne and Noz Wiltshire. They had competed, well, Jeanne had, because she was a pageant girl, she competed a year before in America, where there was 3 different systems. Yami was one of them, and there was 2 other ones that I'm not sure of the name. When Jeanne bought the rights to hold the European heats, it was kind of very new. A lot of Facebook, a lot of events come up all the time and pageants come up all the time. So I entered the first one and I was like, oh, this is interesting. It was in Cardiff and it was run perfectly. You know, with Jan and Noz, they put their heart and soul into it. The whole thing was as well, the director changed in America at the same time. So it was from a past pageant girl who competed, and she has 17 years of directing experience as well as competing. So that's Sabrina. And Sabrina Cardrell, hopefully I got that name right. She was a different name before she got married last year. So it's been going since 2016 here in the UK. Since 2017, because of course the winners got to go fully paid to Texas to compete. We have brought 12 winners, international winners, which is amazing in that time. The thing that is different between this pageant compared to everything else, we have our motto, aspire to inspire, and there's no chosen charity and no emphasis on appearances here in the UK, just because then it allows you to develop your own platform. It allows you to, you're not forced to do anything, and we don't say with any other pageants you're forced to, but some girls I think get so focused on, I need this amount of appearance points, I need this amount of charity, that they lose the fun that is in pageantry. And by working on your own platform and working on your own charity movements and things like that in your community, it just brings a much more fun approach to a title, and you haven't got that pressure. In America, once you win, there's now branched into 2. So there's Young American Miss International, which is Yami, and YMI, which is the one I'm on, is Young Miss International. So that started this year. And sorry, there's some squeaking. There we go. That started this year, and they crowned. So it's 2 separate pageants. So you know, like Royal Miss UK, they have Royal Miss International. They also have the role model side. It's 2 separate pageants, and eventually, what will happen is Young Miss International will be like the highest tier. So we'll just have the European heat. There'll be the American heat, and there's like regionals within America. And hopefully they're looking to get one in Australia as well. There's a few pageant girls in Australia that have messaged the page. And then Young Miss International will be like the end game. So that will be where it ends up. Yeah. It makes sense once you say it like that. But when people first think, they're like, what does this mean? All these acronyms, all these like
Yummy,
things.
yummy. Why am I?
They also have BMI, which is Baby Miss International, and that's the pageant that my daughter won when she was 2 weeks old. So
Right. Okay.
yeah, so she got one of these before me, which was very fun.
That's the way it goes. Mum and coach gets one after the two-week-old daughter gets one. In terms of age restrictions and the actual competition itself, what categories you can, not what categories, but what stages you compete in, etc. Are there any age restrictions? Are there any body restrictions? And then also in terms of the system, what areas do you compete in during the actual pageant?
Yeah, so it's the live heats start from 4+, and there's no upper age limit. They've actually just introduced a classic Ms title, which is for 46+.
Okay.
There are no restrictions on size, on disability, on if you have tattoos, if you don't have tattoos, if you're a single mother, if you're divorced. For example, the Miss category is, I should get this right now, 19 to 25 or 18 to 25. Yeah, 18 to 25. And if you have a child, then you're just put in the Ms category. Right. So that's like how it is done.
The Ms category as in MS, right?
MS, yeah, right. The Ms, the one that I was in. So yeah, there's no restrictions with that. So in the European heats, we have the interview, which is with most pageants you have an interview. Then we have the fashion rounds. That's just normal fashion wear, and red, white, and blue. So that's now changed in America, which I'll explain. Right. But it's meant to be like patriotic colours. We have the red, white, and blue in America as well, but we still have it here in Europe because it's just a fun round. It's like every at least has to have at least one of each colour. So it's just showing like how girls can be creative, and of course evening wear, which is a staple in pageantry. Then if you win the Yummy, you get to go to America. There's no interview in America. However, there is an application. So the application you send off beforehand that gets marked. So it asks you the community work that you've been doing. It asks you about why you should be a Yummy, why my queen, what would you like to be? And so it's asking all those sort of questions which you'd get in an interview, and it just gives you more chance to expand.
Yes.
And then you also do get on-stage questions as well. So for Yummy, you'll have runway fashion and evening and on-stage question for every single person. Weimar, you have national wear, evening, and a on-stage question if you are top 5. Right.
Okay. So, so it goes from. Sorry, you're going to get some squeaking sound again. I think there's a couple of trains pulling in Monday morning. So
that's right.
So how many girls go from Yemi to Yemi?
So we only take 7 queens now. So we have Junior Miss, Preteen, Teen, Miss, Ms, Mrs, and Classic Ms as well. So we've introduced 2 new titles this year.
Right.
And so it's expanded. It started with just Teen, Miss, and Ms, and it's just like grown, and there's been more interest. The heats, it started from, there were, I think maybe like 10 girls in 2016, and now we had that huge stage like this year. It was so much fun, and it's just growing and growing, which is amazing.
That is amazing, and I have to ask you as well why you actually think it's growing, because there are a lot of systems, not just in the UK, but especially here in Australia, that are going the opposite direction. They're shrinking. And I always think it's because they're no longer relevant. So why do you think that the Yemi system is growing?
I think it's more of we preach a lot with the whole sisterhood, but that is what the pageant is about. We have our PG party the night before, and that's a chance to bond. There's loads of fun things to do, and we are always like talking with each other. I think of all pageants nowadays, there's so many different pageants. It's just saturating the market.
Oh yeah.
So you have to research and find out which systems you like. So for example, for Yummy, it appeals to some people because you're not scored on appearances. So if you wanted to enter late, you could enter late and you're not penalised.
Right.
So when you do the interview, you'll talk about your platform, you'll talk about why you want to be a queen, etc. It's not focusing on, I did 100 appearances in my bedroom, like I'm going to make them all count and I'll get 100 points. So that's a sort of different thing, but it's just the time and the effort that's put into the finals. The queens, I also think as well, the current queens make a system. if you're seeing them out and about at different appearances and you get to talk to them and they're approachable, you're more likely to want to enter that system.
Absolutely. I think your title holders really make or break your system. Just before I head over to the Facebook comments, and I did duck over and I can see a lot, so I will come to your questions. And the way Facebook Live does questions, if you sort of entered them a long time ago and there's been a lot of questions since, I can't actually scroll all the way back to the top. And I just had a quick check and I can't get to the very top. So if I don't get to your question, just put it in again and I'll get to it in a couple of minutes. But I want to ask Hannah, just before we go to the Facebook questions, in terms of your own pageantry experience, I mean, I can see a load of sashes behind you, and you mentioned that you started probably about 8-9 years ago.
Yeah,
so tell us about your own, pageantversary. Tell us about your experience, why you decided to enter pageantry in the first place.
The train's gone. I started pageants 2010. I actually entered a local heat for Miss England for my Miss Wiltshire. In 2009, it's the end. So I just come out of a really abusive, both physically and mentally, a relationship. I just got back in the gym. I wanted to get some self-confidence. And I saw the advertisement for auditions. I was like, okay, I'll try it out. Nothing, it's here in Swindon. I can go on it, and if it's not, I'll just have a nice night anyway. So I actually came, because it was held in a club, like a really big club. So I was like, night out afterwards. I was 20, so and I absolutely loved it. I came first runner-up and I won the popularity vote, which for someone who didn't have many friends, because obviously when you've interviewed a lot of people who have gone through domestic violence and stuff, you're very isolated and you lose a lot of friends. Whereas with pageants, I started gaining more friends and I got the bug. There was a girl who was competing with me, was actually the Miss Galaxy Island a couple of years ago now. Laura, she's like, oh, go to Galaxy. I was like, okay. So I entered Galaxy. I got my sash, which is in there. It's worn. Some people won't know that the Galaxy sash in UK was actually white and blue. So that's how old that sash is. Yeah, that's how old that sash is.
Keep a hand on that. That might be worth something one day.
Yes, on my board. So I started making loads of appearances. I competed in Miss Earth. And then I went to Galaxy because as I said, in 2010, you didn't really have any knowledge about pageants. So it was just trial and error. I entered, so I competed on Galaxy 2011, and it's so funny, all the pageant girls that are still today are like, oh my God, I entered that too. And Jayan actually was competing in the Welsh heat for teens. So you always meet pageant girls around. I was really overwhelmed. I didn't know anything. I tried it and I was like, okay, I need to go through a few different pageants first to see, get more experience and to see if, I can then go back and win that title to go international. So I competed in a few more. I got engaged. I won Miss Swindon, and he hated pageants. So I was like, okay, I'll do this pageant and then I'll quit and then we get married. Lucky for me, he left me 6 months before the wedding. So although
luckily, I get in inverted commas.
Yes, lucky, which is good because then I went on a girls' holiday and then I threw myself into pageantry. And I always say that pageantry really saved me then because I met 3 other girls in pageants. So Ruth Wade, Georgia, her name was Delaney then, but it's now Holmes, and Ella, who doesn't do pageants anymore. And we started the Wiltshire Beauty Queens, and hopefully a few of them are watching now. We were just Snapchatting beforehand. And we used to go on so many appearances. We were in different systems, but we went to appearances every weekend. And we just formed such a strong bond that I was maid of honor at George's wedding, went to Ruth's wedding. They all came to my baby shower. So through there, I had that support network and I started to come more out of my shell. I competed twice at internationals in Paris for Face of the Globe. I came top 10 or 7th place in the second one. I then tried again for Galaxy. So I competed in the same place as Lauren. So we were both 2017 Wales heat. And I loved it because I went on stage. I'm a plus size girl. I'm a size 20. And I went there in my swimsuit and I was just sassing it up. And everyone's like, oh my goodness, I didn't know you had that in you. I was like, yeah, I did. I did it. But I've just shown that you can do it. Then I entered again. So then I have the purple Galaxy Sash up there.
Yep.
Back with the
whole
time.
collection.
Yes, can I collect more like Pokemon? But
You're gonna need a bigger wall.
I know, no, I kept one there, and I have some in like display cabinets of like my yummy ones and my like things and that. So they're all cool. But yes, I paid my entry fee for Galaxy, and at that time, I didn't know it, but I was pregnant. So 3 months down the line. Yeah, 3 months online, and we always say if you want to get pregnant, you enter Galaxy because so many people.
That's what Jessica Barclay said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many. It's like there must be like fertility things, like hormones in the water. But it's funny because Ruth as well. She got pregnant after the Galaxy International, so that's why I say a joke. But yeah, so I found pregnant, and I was like, oh my goodness, I would be like 8-9 months by the time the Galaxy final would come around, and I feel confident in
That's an awkward time. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really want to be waddling around. So I was talking to Jan, and I was like, yeah, no one knows this yet, but I'm actually pregnant. And she's like, well, the finals for Yemi are in November, and if you did win, you could put back your winning year another year, so you could come back the next year after that. Of course, I did win. I was 5 months pregnant when I competed, and I was still keeping up the appearances. I was still all the way up to a week before my labour. Labour was difficult. I'm not going to talk anymore about that. But I had a C-section.
You don't need to talk anymore about that. I don't think anyone will want to hear.
Labour stories are awful, and when you're pregnant, everyone tells you, and just like, okay, please stop talking.
I think they just want to share the pain.
Well, no, everyone's like, it's so nice. Stop lying, okay? Right? Let's just not go there.
I've seen pictures. I don't think it's nice, but
no.
I'm not a woman.
I had a C-section in the end, and of course, me being me beforehand was like, yeah, I'm going to go to Texas. I'm going to compete after having a baby. It's been 8 weeks. I've had some time to, get my hips back to normal, get some heels on. No, of course, I had a C-section, didn't I? So I still went. To Texas. I competed. Healed up, stitched up, chucked myself on some heels and some suck-in pants, and I came second runner-up. So I came third place. I was happy with that. I won best in red, white, and blue as well. I still fit into the outfit I had at Yemi, so that was great.
Wow.
So I kept doing appearances, and I love my title. I love pageantry, and for me especially, it was great for my mental health because having a baby, like everything changes, your life changes, and you're not doing anything for you. You're just this milk machine and just waking up at all times of the night. Yes, it's glamorous, girls. But there was a chance to go back by applying for Queen of Queens. So the great thing as well, as I didn't mention before, with Yemi and Yami, they like to keep their queens on. They like to reward them for the hard work that they've done. So we have a Queen of Queens here in the UK, for Europe, and sometimes it's awarded, sometimes it's not. They do have it in America though. They have Queen of Queens, Ambassador, and Lifetime Queen. So I'll be going for Lifetime Queen next year. So I had a PowerPoint presentation. It was extra as always, and you had to tally up all your appearances, and I did 70 odd appearances, which was great since I was pregnant for most of that. I won. I got to go back. I started doing the confidence sessions and the train sessions. I flew to Texas. I flew with Georgia as well, my best friend. She got crowned the missus, where I stormed the stage. So I felt really sorry for the first runner-up, Elisa. I'm so sorry. I was like, bashed you out the way.
You stormed the stage.
I literally did.
Make it sound like a protest.
I was like, yes, finally, we're going to Texas together. Well, I didn't know that at the time, but because I applied for Queen of Queens, and then I literally won like afterwards. And I just screamed. I was like, yes. Like rather than the tearful like the first time, it's like yes. And then I won at internationals. I won the spokesmodel title. So yes, that's up to date. That's everything.
That's a lot. That's a lot to sort of digest.
That's 10 years, yeah.
10 years in pageantry is up there in terms of years, and obviously you've done a lot with those years as well. It's not just how many years, it's what you've done with them. Hannah, I'm going to go to the Facebook comments before people lynch me. So guys, again, I can only scroll up as far as Alicia Sanderson Mears said, hey.
That's who I stormed off the stage.
Okay.
She's lovely. I didn't bash her out or anything.
That's very considerate of you. Okay, so if you have any questions, put them in. As I said, I can only see up to Alicia's comments. Anything above that, I actually can't scroll up to. And Hannah, the way these things normally go is there's maybe one question in there, and everything else is buried in supportive comments. So Georgia Holmes has said, "Hey, bestie." Oh, here's a question. Georgia Holmes has asked, "What has been your all-time pageant highlight?" That's got to be difficult with the experience that you've just outlined.
I think my all-time highlight would, of course, be winning at internationals. When I first started pageantry, I set a goal. I got a person behind. I set a goal and said I wanted to go to America, travel to America, and compete internationally and win an international title. So that's why I first went with Galaxy, because I like the look of the system. And then, of course, doing more research, I entered Gemmy, and I just felt really at home. And coming so close the first time round, it's the same as like Kelsey when she came first runner-up. I probably said her name wrong. And then she went back and won again. That's what I wanted to do. I was determined to go, right, 2019, that's it. That's my title. And yeah, the fact I got to watch Georgia be crowned, I got to watch like nearly all my sister queens be crowned. And then my name was the last name called, which was fun. I was like pacing around going, right, okay, you've not won anything. Let's just get your thoughts together. The girls are going to have pizza afterwards. Get yourself ready for pizza.
Focus on the pizza.
Let's focus on the pizza because I am the pizza queen. Trying to find Domino's out in America that would deliver to us because obviously if you're British, yeah, we had it all thought through. And then my name was the last one to be called because it was like the division queens and then super spokesmodel. And everyone just like ran towards me. My director Noz like nearly rugby tackled me down to the floor. So like everyone was clapping. It took me ages to get onto the stage. But when I got there, yeah, it was a great moment. So I'm really excited for Texas next year to hand over and just to support like the new queens as well. So yeah, that's my highlight. And of course, sharing the room with Georgia was fun. She had to share it with my daughter as well. And every morning there was always biscuits on the floor, toys everywhere. I'm surprised we didn't break our necks. I really am.
The whole being tackled on stage seems to be a recurring theme. Everyone gets involved and it jumps on stage.
Part Welsh is the rugby in us.
Okay, so Jane Dando has asked, why did you start Sparkles and Rhinestones?
Oh, Jade, my Wiltshire bestie. So as I said before, I started Sparkles and Rhinestones to be like, there's so much negativity with pageants, especially in the UK. Sometimes people will focus on one event and it just is one person that does it and it will just spiral. So I wanted this place to uplift girls, to empower them, and also just to highlight, because there are a lot of systems. You have like the big systems and there's lots of different systems in the UK, so many. So I just wanted to highlight that and bring that. And I do love writing as well. I love writing. I was writing for Pageant magazine, and we've just written a Curve edition as well. So I've got so many interviews with so many Curve queens. So that'll be a fun read. But yeah, I just wanted something as when I stop doing pageants, eventually, maybe when I'm like 80, we'll see. I wanted something.
You never know. You never know.
Do you know what? It's really funny. There was this show called Bus Pass Beauty Queens, and I've actually met a couple of the queens that were on it. I competed against them, and yeah, that's going to be me. And everyone was like messaging saying, yeah, that's going to be you. Like 60, 70, 80, still going to America, like trying to win the title for my daughter. Like, mine. I was here first.
Just before I move to the next question, can you just, I don't know if we have the term curve in terms of pageantry here in Australia. We may do, but I haven't heard of it specifically yet. So what's the definition of curve pageantry or plus size pageantry in the UK?
So a plus size pageant, if there's exclusive plus size or if you are a curve person, would be a UK 14. So I'm not sure the American sizes, but for Australian sizes, but for American size, I'll be 14, I'll be an 18, a US 18, so UK 14 plus. So anything above there, you're considered a curvy girl. The UK average here is a size 16 anyway, and I've never actually competed in a curve pageant. just because I've wanted to prove everyone that, well, when I first started, I was a skinny size 8 anyway, so let's not talk about that. But I wanted to show people that it doesn't matter about your size, and that's not a definition of what a pageant is. When people say, oh, you know, you have to be this size, that size, you know, you could be petite or plus size. I like to say petite or plus size rather than like thin and fat, like that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
You can be whatever size you want to be, as long as you have that determination and to be a role model, and you have stuff that you actually want to do with your title rather than just win a crown and just like wear it and look pretty. Like, you can just enter a glitz pageant for that. Or go on eBay. There's loads of crowns on there. It's fine.
Absolutely. Just buy one secondhand.
Yeah, just buy one. There's some cute ones on there. But yeah, no. There are some pageants that are exclusive for plus size, and I have judged a few of them. And there's also, and these women are empowered themselves. If they feel comfortable in that environment, that is perfectly fine. We're not one to tell them what to do. If you want to be a plus size and compete in a mainstream, then do it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I've done.
Absolutely.
I've got this.
I think it's great that there are options, because I don't think those options exist in Australia. Again, I could be wrong, but I mean, I've been around for a while and I haven't heard of them. So I just wanted to ask exactly what they were. Okay, Jane Dando asked why, and we mentioned this a little bit before, but why did you start Sparkles and Rhinestones?
Yeah, so as I said, yeah, positive pageantry, information for girls. I did the manual, which was like a basic how-to guide for pageant girls. I started selling them for charity, because all the stuff I do for Sparkles and Rhinestones, I don't really want to make money out of it. It's not something that I make money from. It's just my passion, and I donate. Like, when we do the confidence sessions, if we donate the money to charity, the hall's free. So it's just, we have a small charge. I mean, I would do it for free if I would love to, but it's, you know, to get the hall for free. We have a small charge, and then I fundraise for like the charities that, you know, really mean like the most to me. And the same with interview training. Like, I really feel that when I've branched interview training, that's one of my strongest points in pageantry. I love the interview like portion of it, just probably because I like talking. Also, I love like the hard questions. I love thinking on my feet, and that's why I love on stage as well. So I've trained like a lot of girls. I'm going to be training the Yummy girls this year for the on stage question for Waimai and Yummy. So yes, yeah, all that for coaching, empowerment, positivity, information, all in there.
Alicia Sanderson Mears asked, who's your inspiration?
So I love that question, but I don't have a person in mind for being an inspiration, because I think that anyone who steps on stage in any pageant is an inspiration. They've decided to muster up all that courage just to step on, whether it's in a gown or in swimwear. They're my inspiration, to be fair. I always think this question when it's always something that comes up on stage questions or an interview. And if I had to answer like a specific person, it would be my Wiltshire Beat Queens. As I said, we're always there for each other. We're always supporting. It's just a group of, like, these girls have been through so much as well. And same with most pageant girls, we have such diverse background and loads of tragedies. I say, like, myself, my background is like a soap opera. It really is. It's not. It's like an EastEnders of the UK. But yeah, we've all grouped together and we're all bounded by like pageantry and crowns and sparkles and where you get judged, and it's just completely different. It's a really weird world to describe, like to tell people. Like, yeah, you get judged on stage and you know all that, but it's actually really supportive. Yeah.
Okay, let me just go back to Facebook. Alright. Jane Dando has asked, why did you decide to start training contestants? I would imagine that's also pretty closely tied up with starting Sparkles and Rhinestones.
I did start training people beforehand, just local pageant queens. And I just think I've got nearly 10 years experience. I've been to internationals, and also I'm not charging the world. A lot of pageant coaches are amazing, but it's also, pageants is really expensive. Like when you think of how much the gown's going to cost, how much everything like that, I wanted something that was affordable yet still helped girls on the way to the crown. And especially through doing interview training, I get to meet so many different girls and hear about their stories. And just, it's the same as when I was personal training. It's changing that person's mindset and just developing them into a better person for them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, if you train with me, you will win this. It's like, no, let's focus on your platform. Let's focus on some questions you might find difficult, and then just work on that. And then you'll find that they get more confident, and they'll be speaking more. And then, well, yep, they win best in interview, which is great. I had a few girls at Yummy win that, and on stage as well. I don't claim to be the best at catwalking, but it's just those little tips that I've picked up along the way, and everyone has a different walk, everyone is individual, so it's finding out what's good for them. And for most girls, I find when I do the confidence training sessions, it's, they walk too fast, or they're not holding their poses, or they're swinging their arms like a robot, or marching around, and we just work
I've
on
seen all of those.
Yes, it's literally like Squidward with all the arms. But you watch yourself back on a video and you're like, oh my goodness, yes. And then there come the training or interviews and stuff like that. So I am the official coach for Yummy for next year, which I'm excited about. And hopefully I will branch into different things. But it's just being affordable for pageant girls. And it's just, especially with there's so many people coaching nowadays that don't have experience. You have to research. You have to, I won't say I am a pageant training coach. I say I'm a coach. And that's for confidence, for building up your interview skills, and just fine-tuning yourself. I don't claim to be anything big. But as I said, I do have the experience to back myself, I guess. Yeah.
Yep. Closing in on 10 years experience. That's a lot of experience in the pageant world. Georgia has asked, Georgia Holmes, when do you think you'll stop competing? We talked about this when we're grannies together.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that will stop you either, as we've discussed already.
It's funny because Georgia always talks about, like, after I've done this, I'm gonna, like, semi-retire. And it's like, the thing with pageants, you'll never actually retire, because you'll go 10 years without competing, and then a new pageant will come up. You're like, ooh, I want to dust off those pageant heels. And so, yeah, you're always involved in the pageant world. Some people will just, close the door. But because I've met so many amazing girls, and I don't really have a social life outside pageants, like,
You're not the first one to tell me that, believe me.
My life is pageants. Like, apart from my daughter, obviously, I'm a single mum, so I don't get out, like, dating. It's really hard. So I'm like, I'm just surround myself with crowns and gowns and stuff like that. Like, we obviously go on nights out and ventures together, but it does always involve pageant girls. So it's really funny because out of our group, it's only me and Jade who are actually single. So it's like, we do loads of pageant stuff together. It's like, you can't get a boyfriend now until you've won that crown. Like, we need to keep doing this.
I never really buy the semi-retired thing. I think you're either fully retired or you're still a pageant queen. I think if you're semi-retired, it just means you're waiting for the next opportunity.
Yeah, that's what it is, yeah. You're hiding in the shadows and then, bam, crown.
You're biding your time and then you're going to pounce. Hello, Elle has asked, when your reign is over, do you think you'll compete for any other systems?
Yes, so I've actually talked to my international directorate about this as well. So I'm actually going to apply for Lifetime Queen because Texas is expensive. Let's be clear about that. And I'm going for 10 days, so I'm going to be there 2-3 days before like the rest of the European girls go, mainly because I want to get my daughter in the right time zone so she's not running up and down the halls at midnight
3 in the morning. And
then I have to be up in an hour for makeup. Like, no. So I wanted to go for Lifetime Queen, and then that way I'll never be semi-retired because I can always dip in and out with that Lifetime crown. But there are a couple of pageants that are local. When I say local, like southwest of England and Wales, that I might enter, and you never know. I say never say never. There's always going to be something that you want to do, and it has to be the right system. So I'm always going to be part of Yummy as well, so it has to be a system that's going to support that. So I don't want it to be a conflict of interest, because that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for any more drama, just nice, happy.
Yeah, there's plenty of that going around by itself without you seeking it out, believe me.
Oh, I know. I'm
Karen,
very opinionated with stuff like that, so
yeah.
always comes up.
Karen Wilcox has asked. Sorry, there's a train and a car going at the same time. Karen has asked, "Is Yami Classic new this year?" And then she's written underneath the 2021.
So Karen actually has won the Classic Ms title. So she's the very first Classic Ms for Europe. With Waimai and Yami, they introduced the category a month after internationals this year. So although people were competing that age, they would compete in the Ms section. So Sabrina decided to open up a new category for Classic Ms, for some people that don't want to be competing against 27-year-olds, because it starts from 26 plus. So if you're married, you go in the Misses. So up until 45, and then 46 plus is the Classic Ms. Whether you're married or not, you're in the Classic Ms section. So yes, it was first for 2019. So in America, it'll be the first person who's crowned Yami Ms, Classic Ms, and Waimai Classic Ms as well. So yeah, she's the first one. She's making history.
Right. Groundbreaker. Georgia has asked, "Do you think you'll feel lost when I'm not competing anymore, even though you'll have your mini-me, in brackets, Jade Dando?" So do you think you'll feel lost when Georgia's not competing anymore?
Oh, Georgia. I don't think I'll feel lost, because she's always there. She's got 2 little boys as well. So I'll be traveling there for play dates with Penelope, because I love her. They're all the same ethnicity as well, so they could be siblings. They always say that. They always joke that I'm her another sister from another mister. But I mean, yes, I do have my mini Jade. Well, she is mini. She's quite short. And Georgia always says about this, because Georgia's just a giant. She's huge, as in tall, of course.
Okay,
so
right.
whenever we go to her appearances, it's always a running joke. You'll see she'll put her hand where I am, because obviously crown makes me look taller, but I'm 5'5", and a half, and I always say the half is very important. Let's not forget that. And because I have such dodgy hips, I don't wear really high heels anymore. So sometimes I will. If I'm in my tippy tops, then yes, I'm with the tall people. I'm feeling a little bit more tall. And if you stand next to Jade, you'll always feel tall as well.
That's
Jade,
helpful of her.
They're friends. And Jade always she always enters the pageant after I've won, because she trusts what I say. If I've had a good experience at that pageant, she'll then enter. So she's now in her 2nd year of competing for Yami as well. So fingers crossed. Yes. But all the girls, I love them, but obviously I've got a root for my Wiltshire girls, because they're my girls.
Of course. Megan Goldberger James has asked, "How do you decide which system is right for you?"
So I always like to research the system first, and by doing this, it's looking at their social media. I always feel a pageant is really good if they have a massive Facebook presence. Instagram can be really hit and miss, and I think with the algorithms now, and you're seeing posts from a few days, so Facebook, I see a lot of stuff on Facebook, and you can share a lot more on Facebook. And for me, when I schedule, it's just a godsend, because I'm always scheduling at night time, and then Georgia will message me about my spelling mistakes and my grammar mistakes, so I have to go back and edit them. She is the grammar police. So yeah, I look at that. I also look if there's a website. I do judge a pageant on the website. It has to be their own domain. It's not just a free site, and it has to look good. And then I see what the past and current queens have done. So I look into that. For me, when I chose Yami, it was because there was no chosen charity. Just because for some pageants, they choose a charity that's really big where they are, where their base is. But for down south, no one knows who that charity is. So it's really hard to fundraise for that charity. And also, if you don't have an emotional connection to it, of course, there are charities you will have emotional connection with anyway. I mean, they're heartbreaking, some of them. But I want something that I know where the money's going to go. I fundraise for a charity in Swindon called the Belly Bear Club, which I'm a patron of. And I know exactly where that money goes. I see it each month. And there are so many other charities as well that you can do to help. So yes, research, find out. And also, for everyone, read the terms and conditions. Read them, because then if you enter a pageant, you win, then you find out you've got to do this amount of appearances, or you've got to put this amount of money, or they're asking you for your card details. Like, that's just a no-go for me. I'm not having it at all. So I want something that I know I'm going to trust the system. If flights and hotel are included, then that's a bonus. If I know I'm going to have to pay out for it, then you budget for that pageant. So yeah, it's looking at the overall ethos of the pageant, social media, website, and experience as well. You'll get a few girls that will always go, oh, I didn't like it. I just didn't get on with it. And they're usually bitter because they haven't won, or, you know, they just didn't put the effort in compared to some. I mean, when I won the Miss Crown when I was pregnant, I had someone go, why did she win? Because she's fat. Like, what's she going to do with the title? A lot. Girl, I did a lot.
Wow, that's an educated opinion.
Yeah, I know. But the thing is, you just prove them wrong, don't you? And as I said, I was awarded Queen and Queens because I did the most amount of appearances, and I always dedicate my time to whatever title I win, because if you put that hard work in, you've got to continue it. A lot of queens will win. I said these are my bugbears. They'll win a title and then they do nothing with it. They get their free trip to internationals and then that's it. Like nothing. It's quite rare in the UK now, but yes, I want to see a queen that's doing stuff. I want to see that stash dirty, obviously clean it. But you know,
I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
It's not as rare as I would like in Australia. I can tell you that much. It is far too prevalent, this idea that a queen wins a title over here in Australia, goes overseas to compete, then comes back and does absolutely nothing until the next system comes around, and then suddenly she's doing everything again, apparently. It really is. It's a big pet peeve of mine, and I really think queens like that should be dethroned, honestly, because they've taken away the title from someone who would do more with it, and that's much more important than you got to go, at least for me, you got to go overseas for your 5 minutes of fame.
It's just lack of respect for your director as well, because they put their hard-earned money, because most of the people aren't making money for the first few years, and then they start making money. It happens with most businesses. Some do, some don't. And they've paid for you, they've put all their time and effort, and then you've done nothing. Like, you are, when you win a title, you are the advertising. You are a queen. You are what people, like the next contestants, will look up to. And that's why I made it a point to, if anyone wants to talk about Yemi, like, my inbox is always open. I may not answer it straight away. My daughter may be running off with the phone and trying to FaceTime people and taking selfies. And
she may answer it for you.
She may answer it. Yeah, you won't get anything out of her apart from no. That's her favorite word, even though she means yes. It's oh no, because she took the phone. Like, oh no, yes, Penelope. But yeah, I'm always there. Same with Sparkles and Rhinestones, and people message about advice, and I find when I'm on Sparkles and Rhinestones, I want to be really impartial. I don't want to be biased, so I will recommend pageants that are what they're looking for, whether it's Yemi or not. But of course, I'm always going to go for the pageant that's really treated me well, just because I've lived it. I've gone through the experience. I've seen both sides. But yes, if they don't want to go to internationals, I recommend a pageant that's local to them. If they don't travel, if they're really anxious, start some charity pageants first, and then don't go too big into the pageant system. I really wish that when I started, I had that advice, because I was like, right, I'm going straight away to Miss Earth and straight away to Miss Galaxy, and I'm just there, baby, in these heels that were way too big for me, but I could still walk then, I can't walk now. And these, overplucked eyebrows, the fashion of 2011. Girls, count yourself lucky you have brows now. Seriously, treasure them. Treasure them. Don't overpluck. Yeah, I wish I had
I've
someone.
ever heard that one in an interview before. Don't overpluck.
Don't overpluck. No, don't. I mean, it was a fashion back then for me as well. I'm always changing my hair color as well. So when I won the Miz, I was brown with blonde highlights, and then I dyed it pink because I was pregnant. I was
That's different.
A nice pink. And then I had a unicorn themed baby shower. So I had green and blue hair. It looked cute because obviously it was highlights, but then the green wouldn't budge. And so I was like, my maternity shoot's in a week. So I just dyed it red because I've been red before. And my director's just again, Hannah, another, because then I dyed it black and then brown. So yeah, try not to dye your hair a lot, especially when you're paying for headshots and then you're like, oh, I've changed my hair color like a month later. Like, oh. So I stick to the neutral colors now. I posted the other day, someone sent me this wig in a package, so I was just, playing around with it as you do. And I was like, shall I go blonde, guys? And my director just went, no. That's Jan. Obviously, she's got that relationship with me now. No,
she might have to write it into your terms and conditions. No changes of hair color allowed.
Yeah, well, she's not my director anymore. She's Sabrina's my international director. That's what I say to her to get away with it. Like, haha, you're not my director anymore. But I still like kind of work with her to do the social media, so she's always gonna have something. Love you, Jan.
Guys, I can see that we've still got a couple of questions left. I'll try to circle back to them. Just because I'm on my laptop and I'm looking at the power, I don't want it to die before I've gone through the final 10 questions. So I'll go through the final 10 questions with Hannah, and then if I have any juice left in my laptop, I will circle back round. But Hannah, just before we go to the final 10, is there anyone that you want to say thank you to or just give a shout out to for supporting you along your pageant journey and journey in life as well?
My journey in life. I want to thank God first. No, I'm joking.
You may want to. I don't know. Some people do.
God first. I also thank my family and my friends, my pageant girls, of course, the Wiltshire Beat Queens. Do the sign there. If you see photos, there's always us doing our little winner sign.
Now
it does stand for Wiltshire. Okay, sometimes we're not winners. My Yummy Queens, past, present, international sisters, Jan, Noz, Sabrina. My daughter for not giving me any sleep, Jill, if you're watching, for funding some of my pageant wardrobe. But yes, everyone, like all my pageant queens that I've tuned in as well. Like Megan was one of the comments. She's one of my Curve sisters. And I've just got so many girls. Like, so thank you everyone. Like, and the award for there we go.
Well done. Okay. All right. The final 10 questions, I'm sure you're familiar with them, so now it's your turn to answer. It's always fun as the interviewer being interviewed. She's on the other board.
Yeah, that was the nervous part of me because I'm always asking the questions, so I'm in control. And I'm not a control freak whatsoever. I just go with the flow. But it's like, oh, what's going to be asked? But now I know because I know the 10 questions, so I'm back in the hot seat.
It's like people often, I don't know if you get the same thing, but people often ask me, can I have a list of questions? I'm like, no, not because I don't want to give you it, because I don't have one. But the final 10 is something I guess that people can prepare for.
Yeah.
Here comes another train. Okay, so first question. What is your favorite word?
Okay, so my favorite word is a word I use a lot, and it's banging. That's my favorite word.
Banyan?
Banging. Like
banging.
Banging. Yeah,
I thought it was like some sort of onion, a banyan. Okay, banging. Okay,
no,
got
definitely not onion. So the reason I like this word is because it's like you can use it for everything. Like that was a banging sandwich, a banging pizza. We had a banging night last night. You can use it sarcastically, like, yeah, it was really banging. Like it's just the tone you use it. But I use it all the time. And everyone's probably annoyed when like they say something really like big on the message. I'm just like banging, and then I'll send a GIF or anything like that or meme. Like that's how I communicate with most of my stuff. It's not words; it's just memes.
Well, yeah, I think memes can sometimes convey a lot of emotion that maybe a word couldn't. So I completely understand.
You've got to have the action. You've got to have the action. Especially one word is not enough. You have to have that little meme going off, and it's usually a drag race one or a sassy one, and I could just communicate with people just like.
Did you also say before grass? As in, you said you went. I was going to ask you this. Did you say you went on a grass holiday, or did I mishear that? Does grass mean something is good?
I didn't say grass. No, it's probably my accent.
I can't recall what you said. I'm learning all these slang words, different dialects.
I think, well, with me, my dialect, I'm from Wiltshire, so it's like a farm twang that's meant to be for Swindon. However, my mum used to try and teach us to speak proper English. So I sound really posh sometimes. And I remember when I won, and my sister queen was like, oh, that's your real voice. I thought you just put it on for videos. I was like, no, I do speak like this. But when I'm with my friends, obviously, I get a bit more slangy, I say, like, and all that sort of stuff. But
Yeah.
it was really funny actually, because when I've done so many different jobs. When I used to do club promotion, and someone was from my old school, and I was just handing them a leaflet, and they're like, "Is your name Hannah?" It's like, yes. And usually it's like 1:00 in the morning, like, yes. And like, oh, I recognise you from your voice. You went to Dorking, didn't you? I was like, oh, that's a really weird thing to be recognised for, your voice. There we go. Wow.
It's an interesting one. You must have a very unique voice.
Well, Sabrina, one of the Vulture girls, actually made me record a part of Harry Potter for her friend's 30th birthday party. So I had to do the sorting hat part. So that's my first voiceover gig. I'm available. I'm not available. I'm not.
Okay. Let's move on. Question 2. What is your least favourite word?
Okay, so my least favourite word would be a phrase, and it's out of stock. That's my least favourite thing of seeing. I find the perfect outfit for a pageant final or a perfect outfit that I can wear. You click on it and it says out of stock or sold out. I'm like, why? Like, and also Facebook show me these outfits as well. So I'm like, oh yes, this looks really good. And then it's out of stock in my size. So I'm like, well, that's disappointing. What am I going to do now? Spend my money on something else? I don't really.
That is why they do it, because you're there on the site, you were ready to spend money, you can't get the thing you want, so they better get you buy something else.
I can't do it at principle. I go, no, I'm off this site now. You don't have it. Stop showing me things that are out of stock. It's just pointless. Take it off the site.
If only life were that simple. Question 3. In life, what gets you excited and what turns you on?
Sleep. Sleep. I miss sleep so much. So much. So yes, I used to be the person to have naps all the time, and for people, like especially parents and people that have kids or like siblings come over, I just don't get any sleep anymore. Like, makeup can hide some things, but these bags are so big now, I'm gonna have to get charged extra on the plane when I go to Texas next year. But yes, sleep. I get excited for sleep. As soon as, like, today, I know that I haven't got my daughter until 10 o'clock tomorrow, so I'm like, yes, I can sleep. I'll schedule, like, how much sleep I can get 8 hours sleep in this time without having to wake up to let the dog out. Sleep.
Sorry, there's another train. I'll ask the next question, Hannah, and then I'm actually going to go into my car because it's getting super windy, and I don't want the noise to be picked up. And there's lots of cars coming through now because Sydney's beginning to wake up at 7:30 in the morning. So question 4, whilst I go back into my car, what turns you off?
People assuming that plus-size girls can't win, or they judge you on your size. When I was a personal trainer, they're like, you can't lift this, you can't do this, you can't do that. And it's like, I can lift my own body weight, and I'm a heavy girl. So, you shouldn't assume that people can't do something just by looking at them. That's my biggest peeve. The biggest thing that turns me off. That.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Has Pageants helped you deal with that sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, sort of prejudgment, but has pageantry, I mean, you mentioned that when you began pageantry you were smaller.
Yeah.
But has pageantry helped you combat negativity in general around body image?
Yeah, I think, and body confidence is one of my platforms, is something that I'm really huge on. And for me, even though I was a smaller size when I first started, and then obviously I've had health reasons to get bigger, and then I gained muscle through like exercising, which I'm happy about. I've gained more confidence as I've got bigger, and it's not about looking at your dress size. It's how you feel and how you look. And especially when I was personal training, a lot of people would come to me and train with me because they knew I would look like a normal person. And there's no disrespect to anyone in the gym, but they felt they resonated more with my story, and that's when I built them to be more confident. And like, I'm still friends with a lot of people who I did train, which like means that I did my job. Like, but yeah, I've gained more confidence. I'm more confident now than I am when I was a smaller size. And it's just empowering yourself. And it's just, you don't have to worry about the labels on your dress. It's, I wanted to be strong. And like right now, I can say I'm obviously happy with myself. I'm always happy with myself. However, I'd like to be stronger because I've lost a lot of muscle mass by obviously birth and all that fun stuff. So when I go to the gym, I train to be strong. And that's what I want to train to. I train so I can be able to lift stuff and, get my core muscles back and, not have to rely on anyone else. Strong.
Yep. I love it. I mean, training for strength versus training to lose weight or to look a certain way. Yep. Okay. This might be a pertinent question because it was so noisy out there, but question 5 is, what sound or noise do you love?
The sound or noise that I love. So I love music. And there's one thing that I really do like is the starter song for RuPaul's Drag Race. That is my fave song because it gets you in the mood to dance, and my daughter loves it as well. So she'll go around dancing, and you just know it's going to be a good episode. I am obsessed with Drag Race and drag queens. I love it so much. So much. And I feel whenever I'm like hot glue in my outfits, like my national wear, I made myself, and there's like hundreds of thousands of petals on this massive train that was a poppy, and I'd watch like RuPaul's Drag Race like when I'm gluing. I'm like, yeah, I'm a drag queen making my own outfit. So yes, like they know what they are. They're empowered. They love what they do, and just breaks down stereotypes. And yes, I love. And the music's just great. The music's sassy. Like the opening number for Yummy, I teamed it around that, and it was just iconic. Everyone loved it. So we're like, yes. So next year, girls.
Question 6. What sound or noise do you hate?
My daughter crying. I hate it. I usually hate it when it's like midnight and she's in her bed and I can hear her cry, because that means I've just settled. Yes, I'm getting comfortable. And then, we've got to get her up. She wants cuddles and then back to bed, and then that's the whole to and fro. But yeah, I don't like crying. I don't like that at all. So that's a noise I don't like.
I would hope as a mother that you don't love the sound of crying. Otherwise, I think something's gone very, very wrong.
Childline.
Question 7. If you could have any one superpower, what would you pick and why?
So I love this question because, I would say usually to teleport, because that'd be great. You can just like go from one place to another. However, I'd love to stop time. Now, the reason I love to do that is so I can actually get myself ready. So you can like freeze people and freeze time. So you're on your own little thing. Just so you can take in, like, if there's a major event and you just want to take in that space, just to freeze it so you can take it in. For some girls, they're like, freeze it to get that Instagram shot,
I think you can go a bit more deep and meaningful than get the perfect Instagram shot, but sure.
Well, I always like to. I am like the Joker of the Queen, so I'll say something serious, and then it's like I've got to put a joke on it now. But yeah, no, to just really appreciate things. Like you can't stop some stuff happening, but just by stopping time, you can just appreciate the moment. And that's what I'd like to do.
Lovely. Question 8: if you could try any one occupation other than your own, what occupation would you most like to attempt?
So I've always wanted to start my own charity, hence why like Sparkles and Rhinestones is something that I do. It's my passion. Like for me personally, when I was younger, and I'm really candid with like some of the stuff like in my life, like a tragedy, but I just reel it off like, no, it's fine because that's what you do. So when I was younger, I was bullied, I was sexually abused, and then I entered into an abusive relationship and et cetera, and now I am where I am today. And those moments when you're so down and you think that life is just not worth living anymore, I want to be a charity that will help build young women and young males up to go, no, life is amazing, work on their mental health, and give them things to do. So that's where, for me, I could do that as an adult with the empowerment sessions, because although we do pageant training in the confidence sessions, it's also about, we do like a confidence icebreaker, and just getting people to empower themselves and to say, I keep saying empowerment, that's one of my trigger words, but to say positive things about ourselves, because we focus on negative too much. Whereas if you're saying the positive words, you're speaking it into existence. You're like, actually, like I really like this. So I'd love to run a charity around that to help young teens and young adults, just anyone really, to help them, just be a support. There's loads of stuff out there anyways for charities that do that. But I think especially now, like mental health is not something that's it's talked about, but it's still not, like, there's still stigma, especially with males as well. There's still stigma. So it's just breaking down those barriers and just having someone to talk to. Like, just, pop a message, like, yeah, I'd love to do that.
In terms of mental health, I saw, I think it was from the UK girls. I don't know if it's international, but it was White Ribbon Day, I think, in the UK. And is it similar to what we have here? We had White Ribbon, but unfortunately, that foundation, that organization went under because they spent all their money on fancy, swanky offices, ran out of money, so they went into administration. Is that the same organization over there in the UK? It's specializes in mental health for men?
So no, the White Ribbon was actually because one thing I do for the Emmy girls and for a lot of pageant girls is I research a lot of awareness days. I'm like, right, if you want to add content to your page and stuff that you can do, here are all the awareness days. Like for me, I've got stuff scheduled into March, and I've done videos and I've done stuff that I'm really passionate about, and things like that. The White Ribbon thing was it is, I'm going to get this wrong now. It's in accordance to the UN International Day to stop violence, stop males committing violence on females and domestic abuse. It's like an international day. So the White Ribbon signifies that. Rather than a charity, although the charity did promote it, it's to signify a declaration for men to say, we will not abuse females, we will not,
That's what it was here. Yep, that's what it was here. And unfortunately, that organization went under recently.
Yeah, so I did see about that, but the one here in the UK is different. Although it's the same, it's not affiliated to the Australian one. They use the money. But we have like local charities here, like for Swindon, we have Survivor, so domestic, for males and females, domestic abuse violence. Like for myself, when I was younger, we used the Refuge. And that's what I'm doing for my collection. And let's do a little shout out there. For pageant girls, if you'd like to collect children's books, brand new, I'll be donating them in January to my local Refuge. So I've got about 30 books so far, so I want to get to 100. Wow. That's my little pageant challenge. But yeah, so it's something that's really important, I think.
Definitely. Question 9. What job or occupation other than your own definitely not like to attempt?
A nurse or doctor or anything that deals with bodily fluids.
Fluids, that's lovely.
I don't like blood. But I can deal with other stuff. I can't stand puke, like vomit. I can't do it. So when I was a lifeguard, yes, one of my main jobs, someone puked in the pool and I was like, I can't clean it out. Like, I can't do it. My manager's like, just do it. And I'm like...
When someone pukes, just point of order, when someone pukes in the pool, what does it float? Does it sink? Does it just...
It floats. It floats. All the chunks float. It's usually a kid that's puked in the pool as well before lessons. There have been some other floaters of different material on there. We have to close the pool, and obviously it backwashes it. Then we have like a little net scooping it out. And if someone's sick, I'm sick. I can't stand the smell. So I'm like, and so I run off, and he's like, I thought you were joking. I was like, no, I can't do it. So the other day, a few weeks ago, when my daughter did it, I'm just like, I'm trying to comfort her. I'm just like, what? And I'm trying to like clean everything up. I'm just awful. I don't like, give me everything else any other day, but sick,
Sounds
no.
like maybe there's a term for it, like sympathetic puking.
Yeah. Oh, I just can't stand the smell. It was great when she was like breastfeeding, she's just having milk, but when you start food, no. And then when people do it on nights out, like, because I said I have worked in the nightclub industry, it's just like, no, just can't do it. Don't puke near me because you ain't going to get any sympathy. I'm sorry. I love you. Even if I love you, I can't do it. No. Get it away.
That's an interesting point to know. I'll bear that in mind. Final question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Here is your Oscar for Lifetime Award, because girl, we really tested you. I would like to think that that's what they'd say. I always say with the mentality is you have to be, rather than thinking yourself as a victim, you're a survivor. And
definitely.
That's what keeps me going. It's the positivity. it's that sort of thing. And I've gone through a lot of stuff that questions my faith. And I mean, I'm still guessing now with stuff like that, but I'd like to think that if it does exist, that, you know, I'd be rewarded for all of this hard stuff. You know, give me unlimited pizza and like fountains of of ice cream. But yeah, no, give me an award for for all the stuff I put up with. Not pageant stuff, because that stuff I love doing, but like personal stuff. You know, maybe he might magic me a rugby player as well. That'd be great. That'd be great.
I do find that because I have worked with quite a lot of women who've been through very severe, very severe situations, including being shot at. And I do find that if those women, not just girls, but women then go into pageantry, it helps put all that other stuff into perspective. When you've been beaten to a pulp, not to put too fine a point on it, or you've been abused, stressing over your dress is kind of put into perspective.
Yeah.
If there's any sort of silver lining to that cloud, it's that it does put everything into perspective, because pageantry is not life or death, no matter what we might feel at the moment on stage.
Yeah, it's not the end all. There'll be other pageants if needs be. If you've aged out, there's always a different pageant. It's, you know, yeah, it's not the end all. It's fun to do, and if you're passionate about it, then that's great. But yeah, it's not, you know, your hair's not gone right or your makeup's not gone right. There's no need to cry over it and be dramatic. Like
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What I'll do, as promised, I'll circle back to the Facebook questions. My battery will die fairly soon, but we might as well keep going until it does, I suppose. Angel, oh, that's a lovely name. Angel, I'm not going to pronounce that last name because I will butcher it. I think it's Ezedum.
Yeah, I know.
She has asked, okay, should you change anything when you age up to the next or / older division X?
So for me, when I started, I was a Miss, and then I went into the Ms. I don't know why we always say it that way, the Ms. It's just
I do that.
It depends on what category. So I know that she's a junior Miss and she'll be aging up into teen. I think it's just being aware of, especially if you're at a young age, it's like cleavage, showing like outfits, or we always have a saying to have the fingertip rule. So put your fingers, well, obviously you can't see it, I'm not gonna, I've just got cycling shorts underneath this. I'm glam up here. I think comfy's down below. But put your fingertips onto your thighs, and your dress should not go above your fingertips. So if your fingertips aren't touching your dress, then it's too short. If you're just touching skin, it's too short. Because then, when you walk, then it's gonna ride up, and you're going to be flashing things that you didn't flash. And I've judged a fair few pageants in my time, and I've seen things that I can't unsee. So the fingertip, or I always like, try and touch my toes in the outfit, and if I'm showing cheek, then we say no. So yeah, it's just being mindful about things like that. There's no like colours and dresses. Like there used to be the whole myth that in pageants in UK that green was an unlucky colour. Like no one ever wins in green. And that's like not true, because I've won in green, and loads of other girls have won in green. But it's always a myth, like you should never wear black. But I always say as well, especially if you do want to wear a black gown, if there is a black background in the pageant you're competing in, you're going to blend in. And I think I remember Lauren was saying something about that on your podcast. Actually, she had a black dress.
The Galaxy stage apparently is black, so don't wear black because you disappear.
Yeah, so I always think it's nice to wear a colour, especially one that complements your skin tones as well. Because I know that, Angel, you've got a darker skin tone, so like yellows and oranges and things like that would look really nice. Whereas I wouldn't suit an orange gown at all. So I stick to blues and greens and stuff, because that like highlights what I have, like what I wear. I guess my olive skin tones when I'm tanned. Not at the moment, pasting. Yeah.
Well, you need sun before you can tan. That's often an issue in the UK. Dominique Savage Ramsey, what is one best pageant advice that you have been given that you can pass on?
Okay, so one pageant advice, I've got loads, and I think I'm going to say two, because one's for swimwear, which I don't compete in anymore at the moment, and I could come back to it. and it's really funny. But you need to wear like a panty liner in your swimwear. Now, this is so things don't show and you don't get a camel toe. So that's me
Hearing all
telling
this
it.
stuff today. It's only 7:30 on a Monday morning. It's like it's too early to hear this.
And you're talking
Continue.
about that already. But yeah, so that smooths it out so you're not especially with some of the materials with bikinis are unforgiving for some people. So yeah, that's always good. Of course, if you're white, then wouldn't, because it will show up. The other bit of advice I would say, and this is something that I say about interviews, is just to bullet point everything that you say that you want to get across in your interview. So a lot of people will practice like line by line for their interview, and then when you get into it, you're like, oh no, I've lost what I'm saying, and you like ramble on about something else, and then you return back to it, and it's too late by then. So bullet point. For me, I always bullet point about why I want to win, my platform, and the stuff I've been doing like before, and what I'm going to do after. If I have those three there, like I know that any question that I'm going to get asked, I can always lead back. So that's my advice. Get the judges to be stumbling because you want them to lead back to the questions that you want them to ask, like you want them to ask you. That's the one,
Georgia has asked, have you thought about offering to make people's national wear amongst all the hundreds of other things you do?
So I'm a really creative person, but not so good. So I can put stuff onto things. I can't create a gown from scratch. I can't do stuff like that. So for some of my outfits, like I've chopped an even gown into a tea dress, or my national wear, as I said, I built a massive train of petals and then a hat out of cardboard and gems and stuff. I do have some really nice like national wear. I'm excited. I'm building something for, I won't say building something, maybe build something for the international stage in Texas, because I'm not being judged, so I can be as fun as I want to be.
Right.
If anyone's in Texas listening, you're never gonna know. No, some girls do. But I think I've done it for friends, but I don't think it's so much time and effort, especially now I have Penelope. I do it when she's asleep, so I'm like, right, I'll get like a few petals done in the night. My train took like a month last time. I'll gem up shoes and stuff. I think a lot of girls, if they get a glue gun or a gem thing, they can do it themselves. You know, as a Texas saying, you know, glue gun and Jesus, and you'll get through. You'll make it on that stage, all gemmed up.
That definitely sums up what I imagine Texas pageants to be like. A Texas saying, if there ever was one, Jesus and
like,
glue gun.
Yeah, they say the higher, Jesus, glue gun, and a prayer. The higher your hair, the closer to God you are. So that's why the Texas hair is big.
That explains some of the heels as well.
Yeah, gotta get close. I probably butchered that saying as well, and then like all the American queens are like, no, that's not what we say.
I'm sure they'll let me know. I'm sure, don't worry. And I'm just, but I think it's one more. Yeah, what's your advice to people coming back? This is from Alicia. What's your advice to people coming back after placing runner up?
Yes, so a lot of girls that I've known that have won the crown have come back, like myself included. 2016 I placed third place, 2017 I won, and then third place in internationals, and I came back and I won. It's all about, it's your frame of mind. It's if you really want that pageant, like if you really want to compete in that system and you want that crown, and you want what the title embodies rather than you just want a crown and sash, then just keep going, because one day like it will happen. And if it doesn't happen, like it just means it wasn't for you, and then you can try a different system, or you can try there have been people who have competed in one system, not won anything, not placed, and then they won in the next one. It's all about them, the frame of mind. So I think it's really disheartening not winning, and you're going to be honest when you compete. You go there to win. Anyone who says, I'm just here for the experience. No, you're not. You're lying. You don't enter a pageant if you don't want to win. You know, you have those dreams and you're getting crowned. This is my moment. Of course, you are happy for the other people. You really are.
Yeah.
But it's all about working on yourself. And sometimes I think when I was in America, I was like, I gave it my all. But then I knew in the back of my head, no, because I wasn't 100%. I was still recovering from the surgery. I didn't have time to proper prep my outfits because I was trying to find stuff that fitted me with my ever-changing body. So when I went to Texas this time, I was like, right, I've made my own national wear, so I'm really happy with that. I made my own red, white, and blue by, like I said, cutting outfits and sewing them together. So I had this great tassel, like, skirt and, like, top and gemmed shoes. I made sure I poured my heart and soul into this outfit. So I was going home with a crown. I said, if I'm not getting one, I'm stealing one. Like, that's it. I'm just taking Penelope's one. I'm like, right, because I've had to look at that crown for a whole year in her nursery, like... One day.
I can't believe you're jealous of your daughter's crown.
I was. I've got my own now, so it's fine. But you know when you like envision yourself, you're like, I still made her as well. And she's just better than me. She's 50% me, 100% like amazing. But yeah, if you work hard at it, you will get it. Well, moment will come, and sometimes it means it's like looking back and you're thinking, well, if I won this, I wouldn't have done this or I wouldn't have done this. I look back and say, if I got married, I wouldn't be competing in pageants. I'd be in an unhappy marriage with like a million kids and just hating life. Whereas I've lived, I've gone on holidays, I've gone and done amazing things with pageantry, and now like here I am chatting in my bedroom. And you're in Australia. Like it's just amazing how these things work. Like
it is.
yes. So patience and self-belief. Yeah, you can do it. You can do it. I'm rooting for you.
Perfect. Now, Hannah, my laptop has just gone onto battery saving mode, so it's officially telling me that that's enough. I know there are a couple of questions still on Facebook, so after you've had a break and you want to circle back and maybe just answer them in person, that would be great. I will, obviously, thank you for your time.
That's all right. It's all good.
And I'm going to thank everyone for watching. I will keep you on the line for just a second, Hannah. But to those of you watching and asking the questions, sending them in, thank you so much for watching. And we'll speak to you next.
What's up, guys? It's Adrian again. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to head over to pageantlaunch.com. Join our launch team for our review site. It's super important to all of us to make sure that the industry is safe, transparent, and fair. So head over to pageantlaunch.com, write in your email address, and we'll speak to you next time.